The Strait of Hormuz at late afternoon is the kind of place where the world holds its breath. Narrow, strategic, and always one mistake away from ignition. I'm Frank Wolf Mercer, and I was riding a fast boat toward a container ship that shouldn't exist, alongside CIA case officers and SAS 121 operators who don't officially exist either. Intelligence said the ship was carrying nuclear missile components, hidden inside commercial containers, moving through one of the most watched choke points on Earth, like it owned the place. The crew? Not merchants. Iranian Revolutionary Guard, IRGC intelligence operatives. All of them. Every single soul aboard that ship knew exactly what they were moving and what would happen if the world found out. Our mission was simple on paper: board the vessel, secure the cargo, neutralize all threats. But nothing's simple when you're boarding a floating fortress full of trained killers in the middle of international waters at dusk. The sun was sinking orange behind us as our boats cut through the waves. Silent engines, blackened hulls, faces painted for war. The container ship loomed ahead like a steel mountain, rust-stained and anonymous, flying a flag of convenience that meant nothing. The briefing had been clinical: satellite imagery, thermal scans, container manifests that didn't match reality. But sitting in that briefing room and riding toward a ship full of armed operatives are two very different things. We hit the hull hard, grappling hooks, rope climbs, boots on deck within seconds. And that's when the quiet died. Gunfire erupted from the bridge superstructure, assault rifles barking, rounds pinging off containers. The crew wasn't running. They were defending, like they'd been waiting for us. The deck became a maze of steel and shadow. Containers stacked 3 high-created kill zones at every turn. Muzzle flashes lit the dusk like angry stars. The SAS moved like ghosts, fluid, lethal, clearing sight lines with surgical precision. They didn't waste rounds, didn't hesitate. Every movement had purpose. The CIA operatives held corridors, called targets, coordinated fire with the kind of calm that only comes from doing this too many times before. And I pushed forward into the belly of the ship, where the real nightmare waited. The corridors, narrow, metal, dim yellow lights buzzing overhead. Every corner a kill zone, every hatch a gamble. The air smelled like oil and rust and the kind of sweat that comes from knowing you might not walk back out. We moved in the stacks, tight, controlled, weapons up. The IRGC crew fought us meter by meter. These weren't conscripts. They were professionals, trained, committed, and they knew the ship better than we did. Close quarters firefights and passageways so narrow you could touch both walls. Muzzle flashed, lighting faces for a split second before the darkness swallowed them again. You don't aim in spaces like that. You react. You trust your training and hope the guy next to you does the same. Rounds sparked off steel, boots slipped in blood. Voices shouted in Farsi and English, and the universal language of violence, the kind that doesn't need translation. One by one, we cleared them. No surrender, no prisoners. They knew what they were protecting. They knew the cost, and they chose to die for it. Some men fight for money, some fight for ideology. These men fought because they believed the cargo in that hold was worth more than their lives. By the time we reached the cargo hold, the ship had gone quiet in that terrible way. That means the fighting's over, but the weight hasn't lifted. The heavy hatch groaned open, and there they were. 121 containers, stacked like a maze. Industrial lighting cast long shadows between them. Most were decoys, legitimate cargo mixed with the poison to hide what was really there. But inside 3 of them, missile components, guidance systems, warheads in transit, the kind of hardware that doesn't just end battles. It ends cities, erases them from the map, turns populations into memories. A CIA officer ran a Geiger counter over the crates. The click, click, click told us everything we needed to know. Confirmed, it's here, all of it. For a moment, nobody moved. We just stood there in that cold steel cavern, staring at containers that looked like 1,000 others but carried the weight of apocalypse. We tagged the containers, secured the hold, called in the extraction team. Professionals again, mission mode. But the silence between us said what words couldn't. And then for just a moment, we let ourselves breathe. I climbed back topside as the sun touched the horizon. The Strait of Hormuz stretched out in every direction, silent, indifferent, beautiful in that deadly way oceans are when they've seen too much blood. The water was calm, almost peaceful, like the violence below deck had never happened. An SAS operator stood beside me, rifle still warm, watching the sky turn gold and red. His face was painted, his gear was torn, but his eyes were somewhere else, somewhere quiet. He didn't say anything. Neither did I, because some missions don't get speeches, they get sunsets, and the quiet knowledge that the world will never know how close it came, that people will wake up tomorrow, drink their coffee, go to work, kiss their kids, and never know that 3 containers full of nightmares almost made it through. We recovered 121 containers, stopped a nightmare before it could breathe, and left behind a ghost ship full of silent steel and empty eyes. I'm Frank Wolf Mercer. This is Old Glory Legends.